Hi guys, welcome to the channel today. Might notice something different on the bike. I've got a bit of a mock-up of these slash car mufflers which arrived today. Now the only reason I've gone for this idea is I got these mufflers at a pretty good price. Actually bought them for $160 a pair. I've seen them advertised a lot more expensive than that, and I thought, oh well, I might as well give it a hit. Now some people might say, what's the purpose of these mufflers? And you know, everybody gives different opinions. From for example, by taking the original off you might save 5 kilos a side, and usually the answer to that from remarks on YouTube is, well, you could eat a lot less, or well, some of the riders might want to eat a lot less and save a bit of weight. But in all honesty, I don't care about the 5 kilo weight reduction per side. The idea around my way is to let the grey jumpers know that I'm coming down along the road. And if anyone knows my channel from earlier on this year, when I had the Ravishing Red Interceptor, second day out on the road, I almost hit one of the grey kangaroos just out on the road in the second run, when that bike only had about 40-50 kilometres on it. So the grey kangaroos in this area are fairly plentiful, so I thought the idea might be I can get a pair of these mufflers at a good price, fit them myself. I mean, there's been talk of several $100s to buy them and fit them, and I think I can put this together for a couple $100, see how they go. If it doesn't work out, no harm done, and I can just bin them, throw them away, do whatever I want to do with them. And if they do work out all right, well, you know, they might be all right to satisfy my curiosity for a little while. I found over the years that the Royal Enfield runs all right with a sports muffler on it. You know, for example, on the C5s I've run, I might be able to chuck up a bit of a clip there where you can have a listen to a C5 with a sports muffler on it, and they bang along quite well. So, you know, this one here might work. At this stage, I can't do a start-up on this particular bike because naturally it's only got low kilometres on it, and I only picked up this exhaust here today, so it's in the mock-up stage, but I just thought I'd give you an idea how it looks. And I've just got to work on fitting it and get it under control, and there's a couple of other mods I've got to do to the bike before I put this all together, and it'll be over a 2 or 3 part video to make sure everything's right before I put it in, because it's a fairly straight through affair, so I've got to make sure everything's right before I get out there riding it around. And like I said, I want to run this bike in carefully before I get onto a sports exhaust and vary the tune of the bike. Now while we're at it, we can have a bit of a look at this muffler, and it has actually got a baffle in it. Now this packing around the muffler itself is a bit damaged now, because the sausage dog got at it earlier on when I was about to take the photo and started eating it. So there was a bit of bad luck there. But I'm going to totally repack the packing on this. I've ordered a bit better packing so I can try different packing to sort of quieten it down a bit. But the fact is, it's a removable baffle, so I will be able to quieten it a little bit better than what it is. And the length of that cut slash muffler is 400mm, I believe. So apart from that, that side of it sounds good. So the best thing is it's got a removable baffle, and I can get into it and silence it down if it's quite on the obnoxious side, which it probably will be. Okay, when we get onto the fitting of it, apart from drilling here on the mountain plate, that'll be fairly well straightforward. I probably will have to get some sort of covering over this part here on either side to tidy that up to make it look a bit more presentable. But I probably won't go chasing that stuff until at least I get both of them fitted, see what it's like, try it with them without packing out along the road and give it a burst, and then just see whether it's worth the trouble to go any further with it, or can the idea and totally forget it. But like I said, this will probably go into 2 or 3 part series, because there's more than the muffler involved with this. There's a couple of other items involved. I suppose while we're at it, guys, we might as well have a look at the rear end shot. There you are, looking down the barrel. Up into 3 parts, and the first part's going to be naturally the exhaust system or rear mufflers. Then we're going to get into it and I'll replace that with a high quality air cleaner. And then number 3 will be, I'm going to work on the fueling system, an enricher type add-on, so that things work a bit better in that department, because we all know once you hit the exhaust and the air cleaner, these bikes, or any bike, or I've experienced a lot in C5s too, that they'll run a bit leaner, and when bikes run a little bit leaner, that's when you got the problems. I think from memory I've had 2 C5s under 1,000 kilometres from brand new, throw in the towel from doing exhaust mods and stuff like that. So and that's from riding them a little bit hard. So I think by doing those 3 mods, you know, I've really got to do something and get a little bit better fueling to the unit. And I think if I do that, I've sort of covered my bases a bit more, and that'd be the best way to do it. Be getting into this thing straight away until at least I run this bike in totally. I'd like to at least get it to the first service stage before I whip these 3 items into play. You might say, you know, like, will you tell us exactly what goes on, or will you just give us a rough idea? No, really, I will tell you exactly how things work as I go through the 3 stages of putting this stuff on the bike. And I'm pretty good at giving honest reviews of how things go on things, and what I tell you will be 100% correct. I'm not one of these ones that get on the channel and tell you a load of crap. You know, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I don't really care how many dollars I spend on an item. If it doesn't work, you know, if you say to yourself, well, what happens if you get on this and, you know, the bike, things don't go to plan, then like previous bikes, it shits itself. Well, I suppose if that happens, bad luck for me, and next year I get on a new bike. I suppose that's the best way to look at it. So but this time I'm covering my bases, and I'm going into a three-stage plan to hopefully do it right. And more importantly, I'd like to at least run the bike in at least to that first service stage. And when you go to that part, on previous new bikes, I've sort of done some of these mods in the first 100 or so kilometres and paid the price that way. And where I live now, it's starting to warm up a bit, and I have had problems with these mods when the bikes have been warm, or when the weather's been warm I should say, like, and when it's up around 25-30 degrees and the bike's only travelled a few kilometres. So these are the things I'm trying to avoid, and I think this time, you know, it could be more interesting, and I think it should be worth your trouble to see how this idea goes, and it should be worth your trouble staying tuned to see what happens. So if you're wondering what would be the total cost of these 3 mods I'm going to do to the bike, I think roughly $550 to $600 in total. So that's what I estimate it's going to cost in total to do the lot, so which is pretty good. Not much money at all when you look at it that way. I think from what I mentioned earlier on, that, you know, you could pay that much money just to do the exhaust, so, you know, it's really cost me nothing. So we will just see how this machine performs. I know when you get on to going back to a classic 500, you know, just by doing an exhaust mod on that alone, they perform a lot better just by a flow through exhaust on them. But the trouble is, they don't seem to be able to handle it for any long period of time. Once you do it for a few thousand kilometres, they end up doing valve problems, or the ones I've had valve problems. And you know, don't get me wrong, I like the classic 500s, but I really think these are a you know, a well and truly a cut above them. Overall, I think the Interceptor's not a bad bike. That's why I've persevered with the idea of coming back and giving it a hit again. Especially, you know, the Chrome. I think the Chrome's a nice looking bike. So I think if you are interested, like I said, see what happens with this idea, and you know, time will tell whether anyone likes this idea, this slash cut exhaust. But I think for what it cost me, not much money, it'll be interesting to see. but unfortunately I can't kick it over or anything like that because it's for one not really attached correctly, and naturally I got one exhaust different diameter on one side compared to the other, and I wouldn't do that to the bike. It's just got so low kilometres like this, but it won't be long before it's ready to roll with all the goods on it, and I'll be doing it on one at a time, you know, as I do bits to it and tell you what I think. And overall, if everything works out well, you might be able to say to yourself, well, I could probably go in and do some of these mods myself, save myself a few $100 compared to paying some shop to do it. And I know the idea works because this other guy did it, and you know, he wasn't out to make $1 out of it, and he just told us the facts. So hopefully you found this video interesting, and we'll catch up with you at a later date, and thanks for tuning in and taking a look. So compared to the Euro 3 bike, it does make a little bit deeper thump. Kick her over. Oh well, what do you reckon, guys? Doesn't even sound like the same bike, does it? That's one good thump.